Today I'm going to show you how to use Zuri molds. They are a design company that specializes in silicone molds, but not just any silicone molds. These molds are suitable for clay as well as epoxy resin, which is what I'm going to be using today, the quick cast resin. And I believe they are also food grade safe. We'll check on that. In addition, I will also be showing you how to use their metallic waxes. What does this say to you? It says patina. Patina is what this says, which is going to go perfectly with my gargoyle design. Let me show you our piece we're going to work on. I moved to Germany on Monday. It is now Saturday. And today I went out to the thrift stores and I picked up something that is authentically German. It means that I'm probably going to make some people angry. So please be prepared. I'm going to, 1, paint it, and 2, I'm probably going to fill in some of the etchings because I don't need all of them and it's a bit much. I'm going to be adding some amazing gargoyle details and I don't want them to be overshadowed by too much of something else going on. So stick with me, and after I give this beauty a clean, we'll get started. It really is quite stunning all on its own, but there is so much going on. It's also had a lot of wear and tear and a good amount of use throughout the years. It's time for a new look. The starring role of this makeover is going to go to these Zuri molds. This is Gargoyle Set 1 and Gargoyle Set 2. I cannot wait to have the molds come out so I can show you how these look in 3D. I'm going to embellish those molds with these metallic wax pastes. This one is the color Phoenix Blaze. And of course, my #1 favorite color, teal. This one is called Bora Bora. While scrolling through Marketplace, I found the exact duplicate of the trunk that I got for €40. They were selling this painted version for about €169. And they did a nice job refreshing, but this is not exactly a unique or one-of-a-kind piece. Before anyone clutches their pearls, look at this. There you go. That's what's behind this. It is particle board, okay? So yes, particle board is actually wood, but this is not something that was, in a castle and now I've ruined it. So don't worry, it's gonna get covered up with something cool. Okay, so getting customer service in Germany is not the same. I went to a hardware store yesterday and it is a different world. There are not employees all over the place, and the ones that are there don't necessarily want to help. At least not where I went. So I don't know what this is, but I'm going to fill some of these carvings in with whatever's in this jar and hope that it works. Yeah, something like that. So this is what I'm filling. This is how it looks filled with whatever is in this bucket, which honestly smells just kind of musty and feels like wet sand. Maybe it's like for filling of like sandstone walls or something like that. Maybe that's what it's for. Well, guess what? It's what I'm using. If they don't know what Bondo is, they must have another word. And I'll probably just fill in a little bit of this to make sure that no liquid soaks into the particle board. I'm gonna have to do some kind of translation on this can to see how long I'm supposed to let it sit before I attempt to sand it. The verdict is that this stuff is in fact pretty hard, but it also is awful to sand. So we wait until tomorrow when I get my orbital sander from German Amazon, I hope. let's take a brief intermission to France, shall we?
आप एक पैकेट देख लेते हो यहाँ से मैंने भी एक ही लेना है
I tried to pick Mama.
I was going to do, in these center flower looking things, the small round gargoyle. And he does fit nicely there, but again, kind of like my original thought, too much is too much. I don't want it to be so many things to look at that you don't look at anything. New plan is I want to fill these little things because they're floral and they don't go with my Gothic makeover at all. I'm going to use a very thin wood fill. I'm going to take some texture medium and I'm going to blot the paint on, and that's going to disguise any place where this texture might be sandy, this texture might be, you know, woody but with lumps. Basically, I'm gonna hide whatever is not perfect, you know, like makeup. So I'm slathering on some foundation here. I can't find the third one that I swear I made anywhere. So we're gonna make another one. I don't have any more of the 10-minute epoxy. Plan B, Sculpey air dry clay. This is something I got at Hobby Lobby. I have never used it before. The issues continue with this clay gargoyle, but do not be dissuaded. While I was taking him out and this wing just like fell off when I was trying to move him, don't worry about that. If something like that happens to you, just roll with it and put it where it's supposed to be. Is he perfect? No, he is not. But since I just went and saw the cathedrals yesterday, I know for a fact those gargoyles weren't perfect either. And if he's a little bit different, he's a little bit different. We don't shame our gargoyles. We just embrace them. I'm using the Pure Eco. This is the chalk finish paint line. Saturnine or Saturnine, I don't know. I've never heard the word spoken. I've seen it in writing. I understand what it means. I just not sure on my pronunciation, so apologies if I'm ruining it. I'm getting kind of a liberal amount of paint on my brush because these Zuri molds are super, super detailed. If I were at home and I was in my own studio, I would have primed this epoxy before I painted. And I'm using a brush that's got some natural bristles, and I'm using that dabbing motion because I'm trying to get into all the nooks and crannies. I'm gonna mix up some texture medium and some black paint because I need to darken up this navy blue since it is a Gothic theme. And I also need to disguise any place where my wood fill or the texture of the molds themselves wasn't quite right. And once I had that, I just started going back and forth between my plain blue paint and the thickened black paint. I am aware that I am going to commit a controversial act here. I did have to paint in the hardware. I tried to get it off, but I can't, so I'm painting it in. I'm going to give it a patina. This is what it looks like after coat number 1 has dried. And over here, I'm starting on coat number 2. I'm just gonna intersperse a little bit of the black with the navy blue because I want it to be grungy. This looks way too cheerful over here. Some eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed a while ago that this piece from the bottom has been removed. However, waste not, want not, I will be turning this into some kind of hanger for my new home. All right, time to stone these up. I like how the background is looking. It definitely does look like it's on a building facade. I just want to make these guys look a little bit more like they were carved out of stone. All right, now we've got stone gargoyles. We're getting somewhere. Trust the process. I want to give them more dimension because you don't want to get all those details and then let them hide in a monochromatic scheme. So I'm going to use a little bit black paint, like so. Take off almost all of it. And then I'm gonna dry brush. Because gargoyles aren't clean, right? Answer, no they are not. They're up there in the elements for centuries. They get grungy. I'm going to give this whole thing a coat of wax. This is the Pure Eco beeswax polish, and the scent is French pear. It's pretty firm. This wax is going to seal in my paint. Moving on to the handles. These were metal, so I want to make them look like they have been aging along with the rest of this Gothic trunk. I'm going to make them copper. This is that metallic wax paste called Phoenix Blaze from Zuri. I'm gonna go light-handed. This is so smooth. Yeah, that's coming out nice. Underneath where the metal is attached, I'm going to add some patina. Using a little bit of teal paint is one of the easiest ways to immediately get that sort of oxidized look, and to enhance that, adding water to it and letting it naturally drip really gives you more of the authentic look. I added just a little bit more copper throughout to give it some details that look like they'd worn away, and then this piece is done. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love it if you would like and subscribe so that you can see all of my furniture flipping and DIY videos. And please, if you are interested in getting some gargoyles or some waxes for yourself, be sure to check out Zuri Designs. Thank you so much, and I'll see you here next time.